Welcome to the Daily Exchange. We're here with Rabbi and we're going to be talking about the top 10 coins, counting down from number 1 all the way to 10. We're going to give you the buy zones, the technical analysis, and you know what? Big celebration today. Ethereum is not a security. We'll see you in a bit. We're back, guys. I'm here with Rabbi from BitTrade, head of trading. Rabbi, it's good to see you on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
How's it going?
Very good, very good.
We're having some big green candles right now.
We are. We're hoping that the bottom's close, so, we'll get into it today.
Good times all around. I'll tell you what, tell us a bit about yourself quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Rabbi, tell everyone out there what's going on with Rabbi.
Yeah, well, I've been working in the market for the last 10 years. I'm not an early adopter in cryptocurrency, but, one of my close mates made a buck really last year and just got me into it. So I teamed up with BitTrade, one of the longest running exchanges in Australia, and I'm looking after the trading desk there.
Cool, man. So you were a traditional trader before that, or?
Yeah, so I've been in sales trading, dealing, and also stockbroker.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, we've got some big green candles. Just a quick update, guys. Giving you a couple of prices right now. Bitcoin is trading 4% up at 6588. Ethereum at over $500 again at 513, up 8.7%. Eos flying 13.5% up, almost $11. Bitcoin Cash at $880 and Litecoin at $99. $99. Right in there. Ripple at 54 cents. Ethereum Classic, we gave it a bit of love yesterday. We'll keep on giving Ethereum Classic a little bit of love just because Coinbase does. It's at $13.78. Now today, guys, we've got the top 10 coins coming at you. But just before that, there's some big news in town. And that is that the SEC has come out and said that Bitcoin and Ethereum are not a security. Rabbi, what do you think about that? Is this just like flying the markets? What's going on?
Well, it's given a lot of bullish momentum. There's obviously the market's taken that as a confidence boost. There's a sigh of relief across all cryptocurrency, right? Mm-hmm. So Ethereum not being classified as a security is a great thing. We had the CFTC chairman, Giancarlo, I forgot his surname, but that was back on the 6th of February. He gave a good statement back then, and we had bids all around. The market rallied, from that 6K low. Earlier this morning, I haven't really gone through it properly yet, but just that and looking at the price action, we've seen Ether rally about 17% from the lows, right?
Wow, that's huge. So the SEC, we'll come back to that video in a bit, guys, but big news. Let's go through we've got a top 10 coin. Let's start with the first 5. Let's switch over, Rabbi. You've got a bit of a high-level analysis on the market.
Yep.
Everyone was freaking out a little bit before, just a little bit of freaking out. Would you say a little bit of freaking out is fair to say?
Yeah, I guess, most of the traders in cryptocurrency are what you would call the millennials, right? In terms of, newer entrants into the markets. But, the old school or, investors or the old money that have seen booms and busts, they might, be looking at buying right now. What I believe and what BitTrade believe, and obviously not financial advice, but
this is not financial advice.
Not financial
Rabbi
advice.
is definitely giving his own opinion and not representing anyone else's. And do not take that as financial advice. Do not trade cryptocurrency. Do not look at cryptocurrency. Do not press buy, sell, trade, or anything other above. Otherwise, just keep watching and listen to Rabbi's opinions about cryptocurrency.
So what I believe, or my thoughts are, is that we've been accumulating for a little while, right? We had that blow off earlier last year. We can get into the chart actually.
Let's launch into this chart. Rabbi's got some serious work prepared for us, guys. Really interesting stuff. Take us through, this is one of those classic diagrams, really, the Wall Street cheat sheet, psychology of a market cycle.
Yeah.
You've got, tell us the story. Tell us the story with this one.
Yeah, well, we can see, last year we were about here, right, before the rally started. After that 5K got taken out, a lot of the retail started coming in, right? A lot of optimism. Back around November, or just a bit after that, through that belief, the chairman of I think CME, right, Leo Melamed, he said that he'd tame Bitcoin, right?
Tame Bitcoin.
Tame Bitcoin. And the reason he said that is because, through the futures markets, that's where institutional money could actually come in. Now, if you're buying and you're seeing your holdings going from 1,000 to 20,000 in this euphoria stage, you'd like to bank some profits.
Yep.
Not only that, if you're looking at selling, why not make money on the way down, right? So, lo and behold, during euphoria, you had shows like CNBC, mainstream showing how to buy Ripple on Poloniex, right? And then you also had SBS reporting cryptocurrency, but
that's like pretty mainstream, right?
Pretty mainstream, and they don't do it anymore, right? But it lasted for a little while, and CME was launched more or less. The futures contract was launched more or less at the highs, right? And since then,
So CME, the futures market, taming Bitcoin, you'd say. You think it's tamed Bitcoin?
I think it has, right? I think it's opened the doors for more, smart money to come in. I mean, if you imagine.
And when you say smart money, do you mean like instos? You mean funds? What do you mean?
Yeah, smart money, institutional investors,
market makers,
hedge funds and so forth. But the traditional hedge fund, they can't really invest in Bitcoin, right? The underlying asset, and that's because there's no. Well, we'll get that later. We'll go into that depression stage, but there's no custodial infrastructure, coin handling, right? I mean, imagine a fund putting in $500 million into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? Where would they store it?
Yeah.
Right? There's the vaulting.
Store at my house, mate.
Yeah.
At the crypto keep.
Yeah. Exactly right. So I think we're getting there. The institutional investors will be coming within the next few months, and there are major.
So you're calling. Robbie's calling the next few months instos entering the market. Robbie, that's a big call.
We've seen. Yeah. Absolutely. They're coming in. We have heard of
who's the kind of instos that you're seeing coming in? Obviously, you guys are seeing a lot of trades. What's the word on the street? What kind of instos are coming in?
Well, we can't name any names, but I think
we're not going to. We don't name names here.
I think essentially, you're looking at the bigger banks opening up their trading desks like Goldman Sachs and stuff like that. That will add a lot more confidence into the markets as well. But one thing that I think we need to, maybe just shed some light on is. Yeah.
Let's go back to the chart here, Joel. Let's really zoom in on this because I think Robbie's prepared a little bit of a special surprise for everyone who's watching.
Yeah, is the futures, right? So I mean, during expiration, you see a big sell-off, right? We can go through the moods of the markets and stuff like that, and everyone sort of felt that.
So below is a graph of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And so you're calling right now that we're in depression stage.
Well, we're halfway between anger and depression, or 60% of the way through.
Right? I'm 60% angry and 40% depressed.
Something like that, right? More or less, I think that,
I just want to talk about something. I just want to just for a second, Robbie. There, guys. There's a bit of news come out, and I just want to talk to Joel about this. I've heard, and this is from Phil Crypto 77's tweet. It's called Things I Did During the 14-15 Bear Market. Things I did during the 14-15 bear market. Now, tell us, guys, what did you do during that bear market? How did you hold? What did you do? Did you sell? What happened? Send us some questions. Send us some notes. Joel, tell us what everyone thinks. Things I did during the bear market. What did you do? Yesterday we had a big talk about the bear market. It was a great episode. We had Alex from Nuggets News. But what did you do to survive the bear market? Tell us. Let's go back to our 60% anger and 40% depression. But tell us, what did you do to hold on? Yeah. Things I did during the bear market. Here's Phil Crypto. Lost lots of Bitcoin by leaving it in alts. Sent all my Viacoin to crypto double, wrecked. Started trading Forex, failed. Hacked. Invested in cloud mining, double wrecked. Shorted $170, 20 times leverage OK coin. Most importantly, never gave up. Well, there you have it. Very interesting from Phil Crypto. What did you guys do to survive that bear market? All right, Robbie, bring us on back here. 60% angry.
Yeah.
Do you feel 60% angry? How do you feel, Robbie, about that?
I think I'm getting close to depression.
Yeah.
So
it's never going to go back.
No, well, I think it will go back. I mean, this Wall Street cheat sheet or the psychology of a market cycle, it has, it's not something new. It's happened in all markets, silver, gold, which is very similar to Bitcoin, right? As
Bring us back, Joel, to Robbie's diagram, if you can, for everyone to see. Robbie, you've got a couple of green lines, red lines.
Yeah.
This is a bit of work you've done. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit about this? Bring us in.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll get into those levels, of course. I mean, what I guess the way we break down on how we're looking at entering into the market is to first understand, what cycle we're in, right? Whether it be an emotional state or whether it be, schematic of, we spoke about Wyckoff before, right? Thereafter, we look at forecasting the price levels. So, right now we're at support with the great news that we had overnight, that could hold. But we do have a huge confluence zone at that 5,400 to 4,700 level, right? We can get into that now.
4,700 level. Wow.
Yeah. And the way that we forecast...
Just slow down for a bit, my man, because I'm not as quick as you on this stuff. But let's take this. You've got lots of lines, lots of stuff going on here. This is a graph of Bitcoin. You've got A, B. Tell us what the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H's are. What are those?
Well, they're not Elliott waves. Elliott waves are they aren't Elliott waves.
Oh,
right?
they aren't. Okay.
No? So, Elliott waves are very subjective. But the reason I've labelled them is just so the viewers can actually understand. They're the highs and the lows that I'm using, right? Lows. So, what I mean by the confluence zone is, levels where Fibonacci retracements and expansions line up, right? And one thing that Bitcoin has done. Throughout all of last year and prior years is always retest broken highs, right? Okay. Now, the last broken high that hasn't been retested was here, right?
Ooh, that's a scary one.
Exactly.
What is that?
So that's 5,000 flat almost, right?
5,000. Why'd you have to bring us 5,000 flat? Is that just your kind of like way of bringing the proper depression to come on? Is that like 100% depression? 0% anger?
I think,
I think a splash of anger would be all around the place if we were at 5K
I think we're past
right now.
that angry phase, right? I think depression is creeping in. It's just, they'll need to be a bit more of a slow bleed. I mean, we might have that pop up. We did catch those lows, the stops under H. You guys can see that X there. Yeah. But more or less, I mean, going back into why we think the levels of 5,400 and 4,700 are a good target to accumulate or add more longs is because if you guys look at the left, we have a bunch of confluence lining up, right? You have expansions.
Man, you've got a lot of crazy words there. I'm just going to try and read them out for everyone. Okay, we've got retest of September 2017 high at $5,000. You think there's going to be a retest?
Potentially, yeah.
And we've got a Fibonacci expansion from AB from C 127. What does that mean? 127% of that. Like I've read the words, Robbie.
Yeah.
But this is some magic coming out. Tell our viewers exactly what this means.
Yeah. So Fibonacci retracements, extensions. It's been around for a long while, right? So a lot of traders utilize that, and Bitcoin. Because there's not much fundamentals. There's not, it's not like FX where you have interest rate differentials coming in GDP and unemployment rates, or equities where you have earnings that more or less disrupt the technical rhythm of the markets. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is still very much technical, right? And Fibonacci is one of the most utilized by institutional investors as well, and also smart money.
So when you're saying it's like really technical, so it follows this technical analysis. So it's kind of like it works well with it.
Yeah, it works well. I mean, technical
How
analysis.
well do you think it works relative to, say, the S&P or stocks or things like that?
Very well. I was surprised. So when I came into cryptocurrency and I started going through all the Fibonacci extensions and retracements, I was like, it was hitting bang on Fib levels. I'm like, wow, this is good, right? So whoever, or the collective that are using Fibonacci in these markets is definitely working, right?
Okay. Fibonacci is back again, straight from Italy, direct with Robbie. crushing Bitcoin again. Fibby, he's back, brah. Scratching on the lid, mate. That's what he's doing. Wants to come out and just crush Bitcoin.
Maybe, right?
Tell us, where's the buy level for you, Robbie, in Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, with
This is
Fib,
the number one coin. Bitcoin, buy zone. Where is the buy zone, Robbie?
well, I think buy zones right now a little bit, right? And I'd be scaling in a lot of the positions between 5,400 to 4,700.
5,400 to 4,700. That's the buy zone, says Robbie. We currently could be at a buy zone as well. A slight buy, maybe an average dollar
Well,
cost.
the confirmation would be a breakout, right, and back within this trend line. So, this chart was done yesterday. So if we're traveling above that 73.50, that could have been the low, right? The next chart we'll get into now, which will more or less, show the schematic of where we are.
Okay,
right?
Robbie. Whoa. Okay, so that was a high level, guys. This is pretty intense, Robbie. Tell us, this is an accumulation schematic. Wyckoff events and phases.
Yep. Wyckoff, yep. So
Wyckoff.
He was a trader
Wyckoff.
who, was around, a long time ago, right? But he was one of the best traders, right? There's been a few like, WD Gunn and so forth. But one thing that he did really well is break down the psychology of the markets, because technical analysis, a lot of people just think, hey, look, it's just showing a price, right? But essentially it's showing what people are doing, right? It's the actual true reflection of what a market is doing, right? So, you have SC here, which means selling climax, right? And we had that back, at that 6,400 level to 5,900 back in February the 6th, yeah? And then you had an automatic rally. So automatic rally meaning, there wasn't any more supply there, and essentially all those bids didn't meet any other, or they didn't find other liquidity pools until that 11K mark, right?
Right.
You had a secondary test, meaning it's testing that low again, right? The market makers are seeing whether or not there's more supply. And right when, there was a bit of relief here, a lot of people would have thought, hey, look, we didn't break those lows, it's made a double bottom, and now we might sketch on forward. But what's actually happened is there's a spring that will be happening. And that we could have seen that earlier today, but potentially again that 5,400 to 4,700.
That's a
scary
scary level, Robbie.
Yeah,
You're scaring everyone. Like, do you have to be so scary?
No, not at all. I mean, the spring could have happened now. I mean, if we look at this chart.
When you say spring, what's that means?
Well, what it's basically doing, the psychology behind it, is it's catching people the wrong way around, right? So when it broke the low here at the secondary test, a lot of people, a lot of traders, investors may have thought, okay, look, it's broken support, it's going to continue going lower. But what it's actually done is taken out stops, got most people the wrong way around, and now it could rally. That's what a spring is. And if you coincide that with events in the futures market, we just had the expiration of the CBOE contract on the 13th of June.
On the 13th of June, right?
Yeah,
That's
so a couple
probably
of
what
days
all
ago.
that selling was due to.
Potentially, right? And essentially, technical analysis isn't be all and end all. It assists us to figure out where we can enter the markets, right?
Yep.
Fundamentally, we're all believers in Bitcoin long term.
Yep.
I guess us as investors, we just need to scale in at good prices, right?
Yep.
And the analysis here is unstacked probabilities, uncorrelated stacked probabilities rather, right? So they vary. We found the pricing from Fibonacci, which the first buy zones were back in February 6th. We picked up a little bit around 6 to 7, and then the next one is that 5,400 to
5,400. That's a scary level, Robbie, but it's a good time to buy, guys. Good time to buy, says
absolutely.
Robbie. 5,400 potentially could be the spring. All right, what else we got, Robbie? What else we got here?
All right, sorry, and this is a
some
scary
quality
part,
work.
right?
Robbie's put in some work, guys. Who's hands up if you think Robbie's done a good job? Literally, this is all coming at you.
Thanks,
Where are we
man.
at now? So we're still talking Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're still talking Bitcoin. So the market travels in cycles, right? And it repeats itself.
Yeah.
Because humans don't change, right? Yes, we have advent of technology, we have more bots and stuff like that, but essentially humans don't change. Now, what we saw in the 2014 bear market is very similar to the price action that we're seeing now, except the time frames are a bit different. So I've got the daily chart on the top, right, of the 2014 bear market, and I've more or less scaled it with the 12-hour chart.
Where
here.
did the bear market go from and to in 2014?
Yeah, so I'll just show you here. I mean, it took, 412 days to find the low from the high on the 2014 bear market.
Yep.
And then another
You see the
700.
depression turn to anger? Can you see how the graph changes a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Right? I mean, it all sort of clicks together.
Depression into anger. That's like my favorite part of the graph.
It's the other way
so far.
around.
Oh, it's anger into
yeah,
depression.
yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
I was just 60% angry and 40% depressed.
But one thing that we have to anticipate also is it may not be a quick rally back up. Yes, it could take, by the end of the year we may tag the highs or
238 days?
No,
238 bars?
720 days.
720 days for another rally.
No, that was 2014, right? So
Right.
it took 412 days to meet the low.
To hit the bottom.
Yeah, to hit the bottom, and then to tag the highs again, it took another 179 days. So it was about 1.75 times.
Oh, sorry,
longer.
107. Is it 719?
Sorry, 719 days.
719 days.
Yeah.
So if we're at the bottom, we're going to have to wait 719 days.
The factor here is 1.75, right? So, you do 719 divided by 412, you get 1.75. So it could take 1.75 times however long it
Oh, you
takes.
think they're right.
Yeah, from the low. Well, I don't, it's not confirmed that the low's been made, but going back to this chart, and the reason why I like this chart is there are some very similar ratios and harmonic ratios that have, confluence with the 2014 bear market.
Okay.
Now,
So let's talk about terminology of the day. Let's look at the word confluence.
Yeah.
What does the word confluence mean?
question. So confluence means different levels lining up at around the same zone.
Okay.
Right, so we had that Fibonacci chart before. We had various swings, and the extensions and expansions, and they all sort of lined up within that zone.
Right. So you sort of basically everything that you have technically analyzed lines up to say the same thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So you get a stronger signal.
exactly right. It's probability.
And do you trade on that when you get confluence, Rabbi? What percentage confluence do you tend to trade on?
Well, the more things that line up at the same price, it'll give me a better indication of that's a good level.
Yeah.
And then once the price gets to that level, I'd look for trend line breaks on a smaller time frame and smaller time frame price action patterns to get in. Right, so that's a trigger. So you have forecasting the price, and then you have a trigger to actually.
And one more piece of terminology: harmonic. What is a harmonic?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? So harmonic more or less means there's a relationship between numbers, right, that add up to each other. So 1.272 is like it's got a square root relationship with 78.6 Fibonacci number. Right, the 161.8, which is Fibonacci median, has got a harmonic relationship with 0.618. Right.
Right. Well, that's heavy.
Yeah,
That's heavy maths. I'm loving that. Joel, can you post up for everyone these harmonic levels? So the Fibonacci, the 61.8, is it?
Yeah.
Because everyone says that 61.8 is the buy zone, right? It seems to be, if
Well,
you do a Fibonacci.
Yeah, I mean, that's
We did it the other day with Trader Cobb on the episode, actually. He brought up the colors, the rainbows.
Yeah.
I like the rainbows. And we had 61.8, I believe, as being a buy zone. Are we near that right now?
Well, the 61.8 was the February 6th low, right? So it sort of broke just below it, then came back up. We had good bullish momentum and then it rallied, right? So we've already hit that 61.8 level, and we've consistently sort of bounced back off it, right? But going back to the harmonic stuff. So the relationships between these swings, right? And this is one thing that I found very interesting, right? So we've broken it up A, B, C, D, right? So, swing A to C.
So this is 2014?
This is 2014, right?
Yep.
So we've divided swing B to D, or the distance
Maybe
between...
move the mouse over and see as well.
Distance between B to D,
Yep.
right?
Oh, that's a 1.605 again.
Yeah. Divide that by A to C, we have a ratio of 2.9, right?
Right.
And D was at $178, so that was the low. So if you just remember 2.9, okay? Now we'll use that same subset of swings, right? So you have B to D, B to D,
Gotcha.
divided that by, and B to D being that 5,000
You are
level.
dead set calling 5,400 zone, man. You are really
Well,
like...
it's I'm not calling it per se. I mean, if it gets there, we get good confirmation. Then I think it has high probability of potentially being a low. The low this morning. I mean, this was created yesterday, but the low this morning after the great bullish announcement from SEC, that could potentially spur some more bids into the market, just like it the CFTC Giancarlo did back in February 6th at B level, right? So you need that fundamental driver or event driver as well.
So you think we could be getting close to D, or we might be going down a little south? What's your percentage on us going down versus us not? Where's your read, Rabbi?
Well, I'd like the market to tell me what it wants to do.
Oh, of course, the market's going to definitely tell you. But what's Robbie's opinion? Not financial advice. Do not trade on this advice. This is only his opinion.
Well, what I mean by that is I'd want a confirmation of a breakout of this trend line, right?
Yeah.
So if that low happens here, I'd want the breakout from this point to this point. I'd draw a trend line here, and if it breaks out through there, then yeah, okay, that's the first confirmation. I'd probably enter into a long position or add a long position there.
Okay. All right. So how many days potentially do you think it's taken to hit this low? What's your and then I guess how many days do you think before we see another bull market, we go past that high that we saw in December, January?
Yeah, good question, man. And this is, I prepared this chart.
Ravi's prepared something for us a little earlier. Guys, I just want to quickly give a little market update before we get into that. We are trading right now Bitcoin at 6,567, up 2.3%. Ethereum at $512. Up 6.5%. Eos at $10.96. It's up 10.52%. Bitcoin Cash at $880. Litecoin at $99.19. Ripple at 54 cents. And Ethereum Classic, just because it's Friday in Sydney, we'll give them a chance. $13.80. Good on you. We do have some real movement in the market from some other coins, and we'll talk about this later. I believe Tron up 7% as well. Really interesting. Neo seems to be just the one that's having a rough time. And Decred apparently has moved quite a bit. Verge as well. Looking very interesting in the market. Very positive signs. Decred up 8.95% on Bitcoin, that is. OMG up 3%. At $9.27. Let's get back to Rabbi with his analysis of how long is it going to take for us to surpass the January-December levels. How long is it going to take?
Thanks, man. Well, look, going back to that bear market of 2014, it took 1.75 times more days to get back and retest those highs, right? So we've, yesterday was 179 days, today's 180 days. If we have made that low, right, it could take 180 times 1.75, right?
So 180, let's do the maths now, times 1.75 is 315 days, almost a year.
Potentially, yeah.
So we're in June 15, mark this, Joel, June 15, 2018, it is mark 12/26. Rabbi calling, it's going to take...
Not calling.
Not calling.
I'm saying it could take up to that time.
Potentially.
So by the end of the year, or between
315 days to surpass that high.
Potentially, yeah.
Very interesting times,
I think
guys.
we have to have that expectation that, it won't get back there overnight, right? I think, we will have a rally again by the end of the year. As we see, what we spoke about before with, custodian and institutional infrastructure opening up, allowing new money. And that's the thing. There hasn't been new money coming in aggressively back into the markets. A lot of people, they bought, during that blow off, that rally in Bitcoin, and, they've lost money. They would have pulled out, or, a lot of money has gone into ICOs. Right? What we need to see is an influx of new money, and I don't think we'll get that, at least within the next few months. Having said that, I believe that the low is very close.
Okay. The low is very close. Potentially 315 days, potentially. 315 days
by the end of the year,
high.
or give it.
Well, probably June next year. So we've got to hold till June next year. Everyone bunker down. Pack your bags. Tents are advisable. Plenty of episodes of Billions. And I would suggest you, get ready for a big bull run. In about, so it's June, so it took a while to rally up. So you'd maybe say halfway through that, so sort of January, December might see a good time to buy.
Well, no, I think a good time to buy is now, right? Within the next couple of months.
Robbie, that's the most bullish thing I think I've ever heard on this entire show. The best time to buy is now, guys. No, that's just an opinion, not financial advice, obviously, but that's strong. Tell us about that.
Yeah,
Why? Why is it a good time to buy, Robbie?
Why would we want to buy when it's retested the highs? You want to buy low, sell high. I mean, people that got within that hysteria when the run-up happened back at, let's bring this up, right? When the run-up happened, you don't want to buy when it gets back to 15.
This is a
20.
chart of Bitcoin, guys, and the US dollar, just so you see. Obviously, there's a big run-up there. Keep going, Robbie.
Yeah, sure. So, we don't want to buy when it comes back to 15, 14. We'd like to buy and accumulate positions around now up until 5,000, right? And then, just hold really, right? So, it's two different things. We'd want to buy these lows up until 5,000, but expectation to when it would get back to the previous highs, that could take, by the end of the year or whatever the number that the calculation of that
315 days.
315 days.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Should write it on the wall, Joel. Remember, 315 days until the next big bull run. Put Robbie's name underneath that with a little photo of me, just like 315 days. All right. Tell us, Robbie. Let's bring it up. That's coin number one. The big news today is the SEC has said, potentially, that Bitcoin is not a security. Ethereum is not a security. It's rallied the market. It's great news. Bitcoin up. Let's have a little chance to hear the man himself talk about this. Can we cut to this interview, Joel? Will this play? It's on Robbie's screen. Spin it up for us, and let's hear the man spit it down.
I don't see a central third party whose efforts are a key factor in determining the success of that enterprise. The network on which Bitcoin functions is operational, appears to have been decentralized for some time, perhaps from inception. Applying the disclosure regime of the federal securities laws to the offer and resale of Bitcoin would seem to add little value. Moreover, putting aside the fundraising that accompanied the creation of Ether, based on my understanding of the present state of Ether, the Ethereum network, its decentralized structure, we believe current offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions. As with Bitcoin, applying a disclosure regime, the disclosure regime of the federal securities laws to current transactions and Ether would seem to add little value. Over time, there may be other sufficiently decentralized networks and systems where regulating the tokens that function on them as securities may not be required. And of course, there will continue to be systems that do rely on central actors, whose efforts are a key to the success of the enterprise. In those cases, the application of securities laws protects investors who purchase coins.
They're wondering about regulating the ICOs that operate on top of Ethereum or Bitcoin. It's not really worried about that. I do think, but it is concerned about some of these securities, these ICOs being securities. Things that pay dividends, things that represent financial value. If you look back to our previous episode, is Ethereum a security? You'll see we have a definition there of a security. Provided by my man himself, Michael P. Shout out to you, Michael P., for providing that. We went through in a lot of detail exactly what is a security, and the weird part, I believe, was the bundle of rights. Now, given that's kind of been clarified by Ethereum not being a security and Bitcoin not being a security, I think we're in a much clearer place as to what ICOs are and are not a security. And I think a lot of that's coming down to whether or not they pay a dividend, whether or not they represent shares, whether or not they represent a future amount of money that's going to be paid to you if you're holding that token. Otherwise, to me, it seems like a lot of the theories we've had about and speculation about what is a security and what is not by an ICO seems to be becoming fairly true. I can't be obviously sure about that because, hey, I'm not the SEC, but it seems to me like we're getting a clearer picture. Bitcoin is not a security. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Tell us now, Robbie. We've got Bitcoin, your buy zone, 5,400 to 4,800. Tell us about Ethereum. Coin number 2, Ethereum. Where are we at? Buy zone time.
Well, I think Ethos actually hit its buy zone, right? And I mean, if we go into the chart here, maybe we should get the chart on.
Joel, wow, look at this. There's a lot of colors in this one. This is an incredible chart. You've got semicircles down the bottom as well. Robbie, tell us about those.
Well, these are time cycles more or less, right? So, we had the high. We're just looking at the intersection here, right?
Yeah.
The high. What's happened here again? Another high. The low got triggered around here. Again, the high. The low here. And, potentially another high when it gets to this time. Right. But time cycles, that's a secondary or addition to
a time
price.
cycle. How did you come up with a number for that time cycle?
Well, it's not based off numbers. It's more or less based off, the distance or the time distance between swing highs and swing lows.
Right.
Pertinent points. This is a fixed time cycles. You also have Fibonacci time cycles where you measure, the highs and the lows and then find ratios in between.
That's pretty cool, man. Okay, so Ethereum, where's the buy zone on Ethereum?
Right, we've just had, I believe, a buy zone, right?
We've just had a buy zone.
It's picked up. It was off the 78.6% retracement. So from this low,
that's the Fibonacci thing that you talked about before.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's
78.6%. That's what yesterday. Was that yesterday or the day before?
That was yesterday. Yeah.
Yesterday was a buy zone for Ethereum.
Day before,
Jeez, Robbie,
So
I'm sorry to the
464.
viewers. I didn't bring Robbie on earlier. I feel bad now. I'm sorry that we didn't tell you the buy zone was yesterday. But I tell you what, Robbie might be coming back on to talk with us because he's a pretty good guy and give us some more buy zones and some updates. Guys, just want to ask Robbie, just before you get into the buy zone of Ethereum, Joel, tell us, what were the things that you did during the bear market? A couple of people have shouted out on the chat. Tell us, what do we do? Things I did during the 14-15 bear market. 1, lost 100 Bitcoin in 3 hours on OK Coin margin trading, bad risk management. 2, became an altcoin believer, bag holder twice, wrecked. 3, started trading Forex again. Geez, why do people keep going over to Forex? It's weird. Narrowly avoided Mint Pal exit scam and never gave up. That's 2 people that never gave up.
Yeah.
What else we got, Joel? What else is coming at us? We've got a few coming at us. That's it right now. In the chat, guys, if you have any questions, send them through to Joel. We'll get them onto the show. If Robbie said something that's a little confusing, I apologize on his behalf because
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he's got the skills to pay the bills when it comes to trading the deals. Let me tell you right now, Robbie, I'm really enjoying this. Where's the buy zone for Ethereum? You think it was yesterday. What's the price range? Give us the price action. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, well,
Joel, bring us into this graph. Get us into this detail. Look at the colors, man, on your screen.
Yeah, well, the buy zone yesterday or the day before was 464, 78.6 level. Now the
464. 464 is the buy zone for Ethereum. 464. 464.
Against the
464.
Yeah. Now we needed confirmation, right? You had this upward trend line, as you can see, starting from the low back in July last year, connecting to the low in March.
Yep.
Now we broke through that, and it was a false break. And false breaks one of the best at trades, right? And then
what's a false break? Terminology for the day again. This is number 3. Robbie, you're on fire. What's a false break?
A false break. I mean, most traders obviously know that. You have patterns like trend lines or triangles, support resistance.
Yep.
And a lot of people think that it'll touch that point, exactly, then just bounce back off.
Yep.
And what people do is, if it breaks below, you have breakout traders that'll short or sell to speculate and think that the market's going to continue running down because that pattern was invalidated. But a false break is the opposite. It catches these shorts and then stops them out as it rallies back up and comes back within the pattern, right? And I think false breaks are very strong patterns, which is counter to the mainstream way of thinking or the retail way of thinking.
A false break. So basically, people think it's going to fly down. It doesn't do it. It falsely doesn't break the trend line.
Yeah, more or less, right?
Gotcha.
It could be a support resistance line as well.
So this is a really interesting line you've got coming up like a little triangle, forming neatly Looks a little bit like, I'd say, a bird, you know, with a beautiful little wave in the middle of it. I'm seeing like an albatross or something just zooming through the clouds. I think albatrosses are one of the only sexually monogamous animals. Is that? I don't know if that's true or not, but it does look a bit like a bird. I'm seeing that little light blue line. As we hit the top of the beak there, Robbie, what does that mean? What are you saying is going to happen up the top there?
Here?
Yeah, what's going on up there?
Okay, so
I'd say we're at the end of the triangle, like that beautiful, you know, it looks a bit like a Porsche now.
Okay, well,
I'm not going to say Lamborghini.
Yeah, well, you have a bit of supply, right, or resistance up ahead, right, around here. And so that's between 582 to 627. If we break this, I think, you know, ETH will go on a run.
Yeah.
Now, it really depends on what happens over the next couple of days. I mean, this rally obviously was, you know, predominantly due to the statement that just came out from the SEC, right?
Yep.
The market rallied 17%,
yep.
or sorry, ETH rallied 17%. But, you know, the technicals allow us or help us to, you know, find the price levels, right?
Yep.
And then you need these event drivers or fundamentals to give us that direction. You know, if that breaks out, you know, we'll have a strong rally. But, you know, on the downside, the other buy zone below that, if the lows or the 460 lows get taken out, that's between 420 to 354, right?
420 to 354. That's your buy zone for Ethereum?
Yeah, so we had one yesterday, right? So scale in a bit. It depends on how long you're holding, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, you also have the support just above. If that gets taken out, I think we will be triggering that 840 level.
Wow, we could be zooming with Ethereum. Now, Robbie, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it actually all only really matter what Bitcoin does? What's your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree to it in a large extent, right? Because Bitcoin is a parameter for I believe, the entire cryptocurrency market, right? You know, as a basic rule of thumb, you know, if Bitcoin is stable, then altcoins will do well. If Bitcoin's rallying, most people would want to go into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's selling off, then, you know, confidence throughout the whole market is gone, right? So, you know, this year we've had a reduction in supply. I think it was about, you know, 40-50% plus. Reduction in volume, right, into the markets compared to the tail end of last year. But, you know, what we really need to see for, you know, that rally to ensue again, I mean, we're accumulating, in our opinion, which means, you know, we're building a base to do that rally, right, and getting into positions there. But what we need to see is new money coming in. And when new money comes in, they won't be going into, well, I don't believe altcoins. They'll be going into Bitcoin first.
Into Bitcoin,
right?
Yeah. Well, they've got to get into a Bitcoin or something like that to get into the altcoin, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few exchanges that, you know, have the majors like ETH and, you know, Ripple that you can get in via fiat. But, you know, most of the other ones, you need BTC.
Okay. So buy zone for Ethereum at that 354 to 414 mark. Potentially could be a buy zone right now. And if it does break this, so you think could go up to 800. It's a big price.
Yeah.
Robbie, tell us the other thing I'm interested in. You said that, and the bigger thing about Ethereum is, you know, and they've been talking about it for a long time now, is it going to move to proof of stake? And I want to talk about the big news today because it's a big piece of news. Eos is live, baby. Live. Welcome, Eos, to the cryptocurrency market. Big deal. The voting has gone now to 17%. We have 17% of the votes. They needed to get to 15% of the votes to have the 21 block producers selected. We're in a great place for now. We've been getting great updates from our Eos with Ty. And that's been fantastic for updating us all the way along. There is a episode as well you can check out with a lot of detail about exactly how the EOS token is going to operate, what's going to drive the price up. Check out that previous episode. Joel, if you can post that episode for everyone to check out. Big deal, but EOS live. Now, I do want to flag, guys, you do need to get your tokens. If you've got them on an exchange, then it's obviously really important. They'll either naturally click over if they're on Binance or Bitfinex. Do check with your current exchange, whichever one you have them on, whether they will automatically click over to the mainnet. Otherwise, if you do have them in an ERC20 wallet of some description, there is a process in order to get them into the mainnet tokens. In order to do that, guys, check out, there's probably a Finder article on how to do that. Joel, if you want to link everyone in the description on how to actually switch that over. Or I do believe eosauthority.com has some really good guides. Be really careful, guys. Be super, 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 super careful with your tokens right now. Super careful. Take it step by step. Double check, triple check. Ask your mum, ask your cat, ask Robbie, ask me if you want. And just super slow and careful when you are converting your ERC20 tokens to mainnet tokens. I don't want anyone to lose their coins out there, guys. You've done so much great work in going all the way through. So much FUD about EOS and la 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 la, bugs and security, but we're live. And now all you need to do is claim your prize and learn about how you can make money on the EOS network by staking your coins and doing all sorts of different things. There's some incredible things you can actually do. Lots of airdrops to come as well with EOS, a very interesting coin, a great new protocol, potentially bringing in the golden age of protocol 2.0, which is really interesting. There are some incredible protocols coming out after this. Things like Eden Chain, Zilliqa is very interesting. Now the question is, with all this stuff, and it would be nice as well, Ravi, as we come up to that, talking about that coin, and EOS if we can. And I'm interested to hear about your buy levels with EOS, because it's been really a very interesting coin in terms of how it performs against Bitcoin and against Ethereum. Dubbed the Ethereum killer from Manila, the gorilla himself has launched live, guys. Big deal. We've been talking about this all throughout the week. We have got a question coming in. Ravi, Joel, tell us the question. What have we got? OTC, Adrian K. OTC trades have gone up substantially. Has this had an impact on the exchange trading volumes? Really interesting, because we looked at some stats yesterday, Ravi, about Binance, KuCoin and those kind of things down between 60 to 40% in volume of trading. Yeah. That's big volume down.
It's huge. It's huge.
We're obviously seeing a lot of OTC, with us, with Hivex, we're seeing a lot of volume increases. I'm sure you guys are seeing something similar. What are you guys seeing in terms of volume right now?
Well, not necessarily. I think, the volume in exchange is dropping. That's throughout, the board, right? No matter where you are, whether it be Binance or even a smaller exchange, in a smaller country. In terms of OTC, the flow in the major currencies has reduced, right? But the smaller cap, the OTC market is increasing, right? I think that's where you're seeing more of the flow. But the larger cap currencies like Bitcoin and Ether, OTC transactions have reduced significantly. You do have these large block trades, and there's some interest there where people are looking at buying 10,000 Bitcoin here or there, but most of it are just brokers peddling deals, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly anyone who's I would love to see one of those trades. And we looked at the top 100 wallets yesterday, and there aren't many actual wallets with that many Bitcoin in it.
Yeah, exactly right.
And I don't think they're moving anywhere either.
Yeah, 2 or 3 of the top ones are the Bittrex and Bitfinex's wallets, exchange wallets. So I mean, and don't quote me. I haven't validated this, but when we've been working on these block trade deals, the largest trade that we've heard about were the Twinklevoss twins, who did a transaction of 100,000 Bitcoins last year or the year before. But since then, there haven't been, that large of parcel size trades. But in terms of normal OTC, where people are buying 20, 50, 100 coins, for us the volumes decrease, and I think a lot of the counterparties and OTC trading desks that we speak to, they've reduced as well.
That question before actually was from David Freuden. I like that name, David. And I apologize that Adrian K was claiming that question from you. I'm going to unclaim that. I'm going to pass through the confirmations now. There is 26 confirmations that David Freuden actually was the one that gave that question. It has been classified and correctly confirmed on the Joel blockchain. Joel, Adrian K has a question as well. What's Adrian's question? Adrian K asks, what are your thoughts on Ethos as a secure mobile place for storing coins? Ethos. Now, I'm not sure exactly what Ethos is. Ethos. Cryptocurrency. Do you know what this is, Rabbi? I'll bring it up. Ethos, next generation universal wallet. I wonder, they've got a token as well. Their token's up in quite a bit as well in trading. A powerhouse in your pocket, it says. I've never seen this before, to be honest, and I think there's a lot of wallets out there.
Neither have I.
You've never seen it. Easy to use by design, the info you need at your fingertips. The spot on the blockchain. Your spot on the blockchain. Not sure what that means. Mobile first and social in nature, so it is basically a complicated, very advanced wallet. It looks like shake it out. I don't know how that relates, but somehow it does. Store, track, learn, send, and receive all in one app. I think it's cool, Adrian. Looks pretty cool to me. I don't know. I'm a simple man, but what do you use for your wallet, Ravi?
I use the Nano Ledger.
Nano Ledger?
Yeah.
I'm a Trezor man.
You're a Trezor?
Trezor. Trezor? Trezor. Guys, is it Trezor or Trezor? Trezor?
Trezor. I think
Trezor?
it's Trezor. No, how can it be Trezor?
Like Razor?
Maybe. I think both Trezor and Nano are good. But it's
I don't know about all these kind of coins. You've got portfolio built in, and it also looks pretty cool. I don't know. Does it cost money? Do they do an ICO? You know, I just don't like things that have done weird ICOs and they're claiming their token does blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, it has. Sorry, my apologies. What does the token do? Powering decentralized compliant future. Ethos is an access token that enables anybody to securely manage their cryptocurrency wallets, keys, and coins. I don't know why this needs a token. Seems to me it could just be a piece of software that you sell. I don't know. Could be good, might not be good. How's the actual Ethos token performed? That's an interesting question. Let's get back. Thanks for your question, Adrian. I guess the answer is I haven't used it. Robbie hasn't used it. Maybe someone else is out there has used it. If they want to comment about using it, looks like in trading the token has performed quite well over time. Robbie, wouldn't you say? Opened at 5.6 cents and is currently trading at $1.89.
Well, it looks like, I mean, just looking at the chart on your screen, it looks like most other altcoins where, it rallied,
pulled back,
took a high around that 10 bucks and now back near the lows. So yeah, I mean, if you Adrian, if you believe in the fundamentals of this coin or token, these are decent levels to get in. But yeah, I mean, it just looks like every other altcoin.
Yeah,
it's just sold off.
Really interesting. It is the 79th ranked token. It's traded quite a bit, 144 million market cap. Never seen the coin before, up 10.56% in trading at $1.89. Ethos, Adrian, thanks for the coin. Really appreciate it. Let's get back now. Let's talk about Eos. Quick market update before we get into that. Prices where we are. Currently, Bitcoin trading at $6,580. Ethereum at $511. Eos at $11.08. Litecoin at $99.35. Love that Litecoin. Bitcoin Cash at $881. Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic, man.
Man.
Not sure about Ethereum Classic. Don't know where it's going, but you never know your luck in a cryptocurrency city,
right.
if you know what I'm saying.
That's right.
$13.85. Ripple trading at 54 cents. Icon seems to be performing quite well. Neo. Poor Neo. I've heard that they've had to accommodate a lot for the Chinese government in terms of regulations and things like that inside their blockchain, and it's really hampering them and causing a lot of challenges. And that might be one of the issues that they're facing. If they fix those, they unban cryptocurrency in China, that thing is going to fly.
Potentially, right?
Potentially. I mean, that's potentially. That is my opinion, not financial advice. Please don't trade on any of this information. We are not talking about cryptocurrency right now. We are talking about crypto kitties, cats, dogs, anything other than trading advice. But if you want to hear about the opinions about EOS, Joel, if we can switch to Rabi's monitor. Take us through EOS.
EOS is probably the most bullish coin out there.
The most bullish coin out there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now,
So this is Eos versus Bitcoin. Tell us about this.
yeah. So most of the rest of the coins after ETH and Ripple, we've just put against the Bitcoin, right? And that's because they don't have fiat coming in, the majority of them. And we're looking at the strength versus Bitcoin as well, and I think EOS is probably one of the best bets. After taking out those highs, we had that double top. During this period, guys, around April, May, a lot of the other coins were selling off, right? And EOS stood resilient. Not only that, continued rallying. And what I was waiting for is to see how it would react to that previous high and that 50% level from the low here. And it's reacted perfectly. It's building another base. And I think, it'll continue running. So this is more or less the strongest coin.
Where's your forecast for it to run to?
Yeah, so this is against Bitcoin, right? So it's not a US.
Are you going to bring some colors? Oh, you got the Phoebe colors now. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is just finding confluence, right? So
Finding confluence, finding alignment.
That's right.
Rabbi, watching you with these charts is like watching a chef prepare me a beautiful steak frite. We're having a steak tarte there avec une pomme frite, une petite salade avec le petit bière et une tarte Presium avec le café.
Yeah, something like that.
That's exactly what I'm seeing. Rabbi on the charts. What do we got, Rabbi? What's Confluence telling you about EOS? Where are we going to go?
I think another 88% from now, right? Yeah.
Another 88%.
Yeah.
So you reckon we're going to end up, somewhere in, where's your zone, my man? Tell me.
The 127.2 and the 1-to-1, so more or less this swing here, from the low back here, is around, however many Satoshis that is.
So 0.003?
Yeah, that's it.
0.003. Wow. Looks like a good coin, guys. Could be, don't know. A lot of challenges with EOS. There've been, a lot of like really scary news and those kind of things. Strange thing is, if you look at their terms and conditions as well, it says literally they're not even going to give you a mainnet token. And they delivered on not giving you a mainnet token because the block producers are going to give you a mainnet token, and they're launching the actual blockchain. Well, they have launched the blockchain, which is incredible. Really interesting how that whole thing's played out. There's like that trust in cryptocurrency. It's like, I'm going to give you lots and lots of money. Can you please give it back to me? And it just happens. Like, it's just the most incredible thing. Sometimes when I've invested in ICOs, I call it the close the eyes, press the Ethereum send button. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
Like, close the eyes and just send. You never know what's going to happen. Actually, that's probably the best experience I had when you actually receive Bitcoin or Ethereum. Remember that first time you received it in your wallet and you're like,
it works.
Like, this thing actually delivers.
Works, yeah.
Isn't that incredible? But EOS seems to be that one where, they've got, I think Steemit and BitShares are the two most active blockchains in the entire ecosystem.
Okay.
More active than Ethereum and Bitcoin in terms of transactions, both built by Dan Larimer. EOS potentially could be another challenger of that. It's his third iteration of this distributed proof of stake model. Really fascinating stuff. I want to see how this thing rolls out. I want to see the first ICO on EOS. I think we should interview them. Joel, cue us up for the interview of the first ICO. Coming up as well, guys, just want to talk about the show, what we've got coming up in the next week. We're actually bringing in a very important coin, a very interesting protocol coming up called Eden Chain. Eden Chain, dubbed the darling of protocols. Looking at a $24 million market cap, given EOS is trading at 12 billion market cap, there could be a lot of potential upside in there. That's not financial advice. Probably one of the hardest ICOs to get involved with, almost impossible. Fascinating coin. Bring those guys in to have a chat on Monday, so do look out for that. I'm bringing my friend Toby back in. We've had an episode with him to have a chat again and get a real update on the market and what he's seeing. We are also got a couple of other surprises coming up next week. But let's get back to Rabbi and telling us about EOS. Can you bring up EOS versus the US dollar? Is that possible?
Then we can get some targets. We can do that.
Could be really interesting to look at, I guess, in terms of,
Yeah, there you go.
geez, when you don't put all your fancy lines in, it's like, it looks a bit like
naked.
It looks like a little nude. It's like Eden chain, you know, like that vulnerable nakedness just running through the hills. That cryptocurrency, pure, no ICO, launched from the dark trenches of the internet on Bitcoin Talk with little forums and posts about tweaks and improvements on GitHubs. Hours and hours of keyboard time, bloody fingers, creating cryptocurrencies and blockchains as to what we are today. We're on the verge, literally, on a revolution, Rabbi, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the new currencies, new everything asset class, right? But I don't think that it will take over portfolio allocations completely. I think people need to see it, cryptocurrencies as another asset like they see gold or silver, right? And allocate a small percentage of their overall portfolio.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Give us some levels on EOS. Give us some buy zone. What's your figures telling you?
Yeah.
What's the technical analysis? Tell us, Rabbi.
Yeah. So that's
Whisper the words. Whisper the cryptocurrency whisperer. Are you the cryptocurrency whisperer? That's could be your nickname on the show.
Could be.
The crypto whisperer. The crypto whisperer. Should change your Twitter handle to that. The crypto whisperer. You heard it first. Rabbi, the crypto whisperer, giving us the buy zone. Where's the buy zone for EOS?
EOS is still a buy. It's going to continue being a buy, right? So any retracement that you see always gets bid. I've got a proprietary indicator or settings below, right, where it assists me finding lows. And this is not something that I share, so please don't ask. How did I calculate it?
How did you calculate it?
Right,
no idea. It's a mystery. It's from the crypto whisperer. It's his secret source.
But basically, the low here that was made, about there, right? Back in March, we've hit those levels again, right?
Wow.
I think EOS is a buy, right? EOS is definitely a buy. We haven't had that much confluence, but if traders out there that use demand and supply zones, we've just had a very, very good pickup of demand and supply here. Demand here. Now, visually, technical analysis or just looking at this, it just looks like a pocket or a range, right?
Yeah.
But what's actually happening here is that when the market got to between 9.6 to 7.8 here, there was a bit of a range, right? And then it had 5-6 days of a tight range, but then the bids or the buyers more or less capitulated over the sellers, right?
Right.
And couldn't find any other offers and just continued rallying. So there's a lot of demand back here. Now, what's happened is it started retracing back and it just bounced off just shy of that 78.6 from this low. But it's come back within that demand zone and we can see it's picked it up again. More bids have been filled. So I think, this is buy. It's a great coin. Fundamentally, I think it's great. Worst case, if it does take up these lows, we could see back to 6.2 to 5.1. But I think, it's a buy for this one.
Okay. Guys, do share the stream with your friends. Share it with your mum. Share it with that crypto enthusiast. Get them to join in and talk to us. It is the place to watch. Crypto Finder. We're here with Rabbi giving you the buy zone. EOS, potentially a buy right now. We are going through the next few coins. Really interesting stuff. We have a couple of really interesting coins coming up next. Obviously, a lot of them are very determined by Bitcoin. If anyone does have any questions, by the way, about that EOS information and data, that was some incredible complexity there. Man, I'm really impressed. Like, wow. Let's hit us up. What's the next coin you've got? So, coin number 3 was EOS. Buy zone is currently potentially right now. Tell us, what's your next coin you've got for us, Robbie?
I think we can go into Ripple.
Rips, the old Rip snake. So Ripple, I actually went and met with Ripple when I was in New York City.
How are they?
They're interesting guys. Yeah, really interesting. They did launch their X Rapid. I am concerned about the actual use case of the actual token itself. I think potentially Ripple is a very interesting coin if they can deliver and do what they say. And a lot of banks jumping on board with that. But the challenge, I think, with a lot of these things is how does the token actually factor in with that? I'm not sure. It's a really fast coin, but to transfer money around the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's efficient. But, you know, the news this morning, one of the main reasons that it was bullish was why SEC didn't consider Ethereum a cryptocurrency, a security, was because, the main reason was of its decentralized nature, right? Securities are usually centralized. So this, I guess, their statement there, put some question marks on Ripple, you know, and I think we all know about Ripple and its centralized nature. So yeah, I'm interested to see how it will impact this.
That's really interesting. Yeah. Really interesting, Robbie. So on the flip side, the SEC is saying decentralized coins and or blockchains are not securities. Maybe the centralized ones are. Does that mean Stellar could be
who knows?
Centralized?
I mean, Stellar's the challenge for
Eos
Ripple
is
as well.
decentralized. Like the guys, the vote's been really intense. Neo, isn't Neo controlled, like the nodes controlled
10
by
nodes
Neo?
or whatever, yeah. No, I'm not sure.
Spicy one out there. Very interesting idea. Robbie, I really love your insight there. Centralized blockchains could be deemed a security based on the SEC. Watch out for those coins. More news coming up. Guys, giving you a quick update on the market right now. Bitcoin trading at $6,590. Ethereum, $512. Eos at $11.08. Litecoin at $99.61. Bitcoin Cash at $881. Ethereum Classic. Oh, Ethereum Classic.
Why don't you like it? What's wrong with it?
It's $13.86. I've got no problems with it. I just think it's come into existence, and I'm just confused about why you choose Ethereum Classic. It's like one of those, like it doesn't.
So, like, why would you choose BCH, right?
Well, I think BCH has got an actual point of difference.
Yeah.
I think these other coins, like some other the Bitcoin forks, have actual points of difference, right? Like Ravencoin's a hard fork, pretty much of Bitcoin. Shout out to Ravencoin as well. Those guys are doing a great job. We've got some incredible, interesting things coming up with them in the future. Love the work of Bruce Fenton, great guy. But that actually has point of difference. Ethereum Classic, but like, what's the difference between Ethereum Classic and Ethereum?
Who knows, right? Who knows?
Who does know? Not exactly me. Coming back, Ripple at 54 cents. Cardano, 16 cents. Hasn't really moved, Cardano. Interesting one. Is Cardano centralized? Interesting one. Tron up 7.2%, trading at 4.5 cents. Iota at $1.25. Let's go back with Ripple's analysis with Rabi. How are we going, Rabi, with Ripple? Tell us.
Ripple looks, somewhat bearish. Definitely not one of my favorite coins.
Not Rabi's favorite coin.
No.
It's been put in the depressing. Is it the depressed basket or the angry basket?
This looks like it's already bounced off the buy zone back in April. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's still ranging. I don't really like it. I mean, it's back around the lows of this year. But, if that gets taken out, the low of April, there's a long way to fall for Ripple, right? Back to about 25 cents, 24 cents. So it's definitely not one of my favorite coins.
Scary one, Ripple, for sure.
I mean, the bullish case would be, break of, previous highs in this trend line here. But, given even the announcement this morning, and that's the thing, like the fundamentals of the regulations, they play a big role in prices of cryptocurrency, right? We saw CFTC, Giancarlo, that speech back in February, that made the low then. This morning, Bitcoin Ether rallied with the SEC. Now, if SEC do come out and basically...
Did Ripple rally with that news?
No, not really. I mean, it did a little bit, but that's, I think confidence overall in the markets, right? Okay. But, if they do come out and clearly say that, look, that, securities that are decentralized and Ripple more or less shows its hands, or deems it to be true, then I don't think,
Not good news for Ripple. What's your buy zone for Ripple? Robbie.
It's already hit it. I think the buy zone would only happen, or the trigger to buy would happen if this trend line broke.
Okay.
But if the lows here breaks, I think it'll get to 25 cents.
Okay. So your buy zone potentially either 25 cents or 48 cents, if I'm not mistaken. That other green line there.
Yeah, but it has to break the trend line.
Trend line.
Otherwise, I
Okay.
won't touch it.
All right, guys. Let's move on to the next coin. Coin number 5 is
Bitcoin Cash. This is good. So, I mean, we spoke about that demand zone prior, right? So, there was...
What's your views on Bitcoin Cash just before we get into the analysis? Robbie,
Well,
tell us.
to be honest, I'm not a technical guy, right? I'm more of a markets guy. So I don't think my view is prudent enough to actually, give any sway. I mean, I've spoken to, the tech guys at work. There's mixed feelings. I mean, it obviously works. There's great things about it, but then the whole politics behind Roger Ver and stuff like that, just, I'm sort of mixed on it overall. What are your views?
My views on Bitcoin Cash, I've personally not really understood why we have Bitcoin Cash when shouldn't we just be fixing Bitcoin?
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? I mean, Bitcoin Cash was there because it was cheaper to make transactions and so forth. But, Bitcoin right now is probably the cheapest it's ever been. So what are the use cases? But, I read that, Roger Ver and the Bitcoin Cash team are also doing different types of payment methods. They're also partnering up with, other companies where you can send Bitcoin through different apps and so forth.
Yeah.
So, I think they've got that route in their business going, which is interesting.
Like SegWit kind of cured some of those issues we were having before when the transactions were taking days and days and days,
Yeah.
right? I think some of the blocks are pretty much are very almost empty right now in some of these blockchains. So this increase in transaction speed, I'm not sure if that was necessarily, I think that might have been a short-term view on the market from the perspective of a currency which is supposed to be a store of value. I'm not sure if we need to trade stores of value super fast. But depending on how we go in the next 315 days till the next bull market, potentially then we might need some Bitcoin Cash.
By the end of the year, or 315 days.
315 days by the end of the year. But if you look at that, really interesting, could be a challenger. I think Bitcoin Cash does have some strength to it. It does have some following, which I'm a big fan of. My only issue with it is I just sometimes get confused, and it's just me. I don't really understand it versus Bitcoin. It seems to move a little bit more than Bitcoin does. But what's your buy zone for Bitcoin Cash?
623 to 560 or 558.
623 to 558 for Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, that's the strongest buy zone. We did bounce off, a little demand pocket earlier, but Bitcoin Cash. When you see altcoins rally, Bitcoin Cash is usually one of the first to move, right? And I mean, going back to what we were saying before, altcoins, as a general rule of thumb, would start running when Bitcoin stabilizes, and Bitcoin hasn't stabilized yet, right? So I think unless and until we find the low of Bitcoin, we see some stability back into Bitcoin, and we break that sort of downward trend. I don't see a lot of these coins besides Eos, continue moving higher.
Okay. Bitcoin Cash, $623, the buy zone. Robbie, we're up to coin number 5. Hit us the next 6 coins. What's number 6?
Sure. So Litecoin.
Litecoin. Wow, look at that rally.
Yeah.
Litecoin's just really been in this weird phase, like this ethereal. No one's really talking about it. They pulled out the Litecoin network. No, sorry, the light. I think it was the Litecoin network. They were having real-time payments, Light Pay, and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of weird. Like Litecoin's kind of lost a little bit of its shine to some extent. Where's the news about Litecoin? Litecoin?
It hasn't been in the
Where
media
are you,
recently,
Litecoin?
right? I mean,
Come back to us, Litecoin. Where'd you go, Litecoin? I know a lot of people who are holding Litecoin as well.
I think it makes sense. What was the guy's name? Charlie
Lee.
Charlie. I think he drove a lot of the media attention, right? And he's been a bit quiet recently. So wherever or whenever he comes back, Litecoin will be back, maybe.
Well, the thing is, I think Litecoin was one of those coins where you could transfer value really fast, right? But the thing is now, this transaction speed again is becoming this thing which is, I guess, EOS is propouting to go at 0.5 of a second transaction.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Per second,
Real quick. Like Litecoin obviously moves quite fast in terms of a store of value moving quick, and it was potentially trying to be cash. Although they rolled back that there's issues, Would love to see some more action and real understanding of where Litecoin's at. What's your buy zone for Litecoin versus Bitcoin?
I think we can
Robbie?
probably do this in the US dollar sense. What do you think? Yeah?
Bring us up to the US dollar sense. It has been, as I said, Litecoin trading on a relatively downward trajectory, unlike other ones, but it just doesn't. Look at that pattern, Robbie.
Yeah, it's making low lows, and to be honest, I'm not a buyer of Litecoin until these trend lines break. I wouldn't even consider it, but just really quickly, let's sketch up some levels for you. 78's taken, so that's going lower. Okay, it's actually at the previous high now. Very interesting, actually. So Litecoin against the US dollar is, here's the confluence again, Fred, right? So you have a 78.6% retracement, right, from the lows here. It's off scale because we're on a log chart, right? Okay. But if we take off log, it sort of makes more sense, right? So there's a 78.6% retracement. We've got a demand pocket. It's a previous high. We've got confluence.
Right. So it's gone down 78%.
No, it's retraced back down 78.
Pull back 78%.
Yeah, right. Yeah. In terms of exact percentage, 78.94, but
78.94. A nice little number.
Yeah. Just looking at this as well, I think that, we're at lows actually for Litecoin against the US dollar, not with Litecoin against Bitcoin though, right? So if you're looking at converting from fiat to Litecoin, probably a good time now, but I'd rather keep Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah.
Robbie, buy zone, we're probably in it for Litecoin?
Yeah.
So what's your levels here? What are we at? $99.
To 76.
99 to 76. Accumulate potentially Litecoin if you're a believer in Litecoin. Robbie's not. I'm a bit confused by it myself. But some people are a big believer in it, and that's okay. And if you do believe in Litecoin, I believe in you. All right, guys, what's the next coin?
I think we've got Stellar.
Stellar. I haven't heard about Stellar in a long time. Like where? Like it was the Rocket coin. Rocket coin.
They had some issues with their wallets getting hacked, right?
Right. Stellar, Verge got hacked, didn't it?
Sorry, it was Verge, wasn't it? Yeah, my apologies.
Verge got hacked, and literally the coin price didn't change. I don't understand how that was possible, but somehow, I even think it went up at one stage after it got hacked.
Yeah, not sure.
That's incredible. Like when Target got hacked, like literally the share price just dropped. In cryptocurrency, it's a different place to be. When it gets hacked, it goes up potentially or down. You never know your luck in the cryptocurrency market. Tell us, Stellar. What's your views on Stellar, Robbie?
Well, we're at support at the moment. To be honest, there's not enough data on this chart for me to...
Not enough data for Stellar.
Well, I mean,
not enough data for Stellar.
I'm actually not sure exactly what's happened here.
Bring your log back, my man. Don't you want your log? I love the log.
The log chart.
Look at the log. It smooths everything else. It feels like, when you move from like non-log to log, it's like, the logarithm. It's like, what's that guy, Richter? You know Richter? I reckon Richter.
Who's Richter?
The Richter chart with his logarithmic stuff.
Oh, right, yeah.
I reckon the Richter's on the lid, like literally scratching on the lid to go and hang out with his mate. Fibonacci. Those two guys are good mates, I reckon. Really good mates. Richter and Fib, I reckon if they hung out, they'd have a pretty cool conversation.
Yeah.
One with his logarithms, the other guy
I think Fibonacci would win.
You reckon Fibby?
Yeah, he'd win.
What if
he's got it down pat. Like your hands. I mean, you should look into Fibonacci. Your hands, your face, it all has Fibonacci ratios within it.
My hands.
Yeah, man.
Have Fibonacci in them.
Yeah. Your head.
My head as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that my head had Fibonacci in it. If Fibonacci was to play Richter in chess, who do you think would win?
I told you, man. No one's beating Fibonacci.
No one's beating Fibonacci.
He's got it down pat.
Robbie, give us your read on Stellar in the buy zone. It's not enough data here, guys. We're in what are we at? A 51% retracement, not quite 78%. Where are we talking? Where is your buy zone?
Yeah, it's at 61.8.
Sorry, 61.8. My apologies.
To be honest, I think there's
not enough data.
There's not enough data.
Not enough data.
It's been selling off as well. I mean, there's a bit of support here back at these lows, but if you like it fundamentally,
go for it. If you don't worry about it.
Stay away. There's better coins out of technically.
There are better coins than Stellar out there, says Robbie. Guys, let's check in on the levels in terms of prices ever so quickly. We are talking about Bitcoin trading at $6,592, Ethereum at $512, Eos at $11.08, Litecoin $99.97, $9.99.97. Bitcoin Cash at $883, Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic. $13.84. Ripple at 54 cents. Cardano still at 16 cents. Tron at 4.5 cents, not moving. Neo, $39.81. Remember when Neo was like $200? It was flying.
Then the tech guys came out and told us how it wasn't decentralized.
Tragedy.
It was all over.
All over Red
Rover. One of
Rover.
my favorite coins back then.
Verge is at almost 3 cents somehow. By the way, guys, all of the views that Robbie is giving are only his opinion. This is not financial advice. Do not trade on any of these ideas. These ideas are just spurious lines and graphs painted by Fibonacci himself, scratching on the lid with his mate Logarithm and Richter coming in. These are not actual trading ideas. These are just opinions. Please do not take this. This is not financial advice. Just so we are super laser detailed clear. Coin number 7, Robbie. What have you got for us?
What is it? It's Cardano.
Cardano. Now, is this like the, it's like the Loch Ness monster. Everyone's been waiting to see it. Everyone's been waiting to see what would happen. Lots of great pictures and stories about this Cardano, this mysterious Cardano. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of like when people talk about the ring in Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? It's like, where's the ring?
Yeah.
Who has the ring? The mysterious powers of the Cardano ring.
Cardano ring.
Tell us, Robbie, what's your views on Cardano? Like, it's not on mainnet. It's got some incredible academics working on it. What's your opinion? Not your trading idea. What is your opinion on Cardano and where we are at?
Well, I think this is bearish, to be honest, right? This is just taken out very strong trend line. It's made a low. We were speaking about false breaks before, right? So that was a low, right?
Yeah.
Prior, it's sort of broken back above. A lot of these currencies rallied yesterday because of that news, right?
Yep.
But if you discount that bar, I mean, is it really strong? I don't think so. I think it's got a little bit more downside risk.
The mystery of Cardano. Tell us about why is this actually going to happen? Is Cardano going to be a thing, or is it just like that one mystery that's never going to happen?
Well, it's like most coins, right? There's how many coins are there for it? Like 2,000?
Probably 2,000.
Yeah, 2,000 coins.
That we know of?
Yeah. Like, any of them going to happen?
It's like Genghis Khan's children.
Yeah, who knows, right?
Never know.
Bitcoin, and a couple of the other majors are the ones that we focus on. Mm-hmm. It's similar to the tech.
When you wake up in the morning, Ravi, tell me, what's the first coin you look at?
Bitcoin.
What's the second coin you look
Ether.
at? Third coin?
Don't really look at too much after that, right? Because Bitcoin is the parameter of the overall market, right? And Ethereum, I guess for me, represents the altcoins, right? But yeah, I think third most, maybe EOS,
EOS?
Yeah, but yeah.
Used to be like Litecoin, I suppose,
Yeah,
maybe Ripple,
yeah.
Bitcoin Cash,
yeah.
but now you're looking at EOS.
EOS is, it's probably
It's
one
a
of the best
contender.
coins, yeah.
It's in the market. It's live, guys. Great news. Thanks very much to the generous Eos guys with Ty, Tran, helping us out. Do vote for them, guys. The Eos guys are doing a fantastic thing. They're going to be donating their blocks that they receive when they do mine blocks for Ethereum to charity.
Oh, wow.
And they are have released a cool new tool. If you do want to find out more about that, Joel, we'll post that in the chat about some of the things that Eos have got. We'll just post their website. They're running some great posts. There's some really great guys. Incredible work. I've never seen, they have day jobs, Ravi.
Yeah, right.
And they are making this happen at the same time. And they're putting like huge sums of money into this hardware to ensure the security of this blockchain. I think it's incredible.
Good on them. May they be rewarded.
Hope so.
Sure they will be.
Do vote for those guys if you can. There are some other great teams like EOS Canada as doing a great job. Let's take us in now back to Cardano, the seventh coin of today. Where is our buy level for Cardano?
I think there's still 27% more downside risk on this one.
27%.
Or thereabouts, right? 30, 20.
Yep.
Back in the lows of March.
Okay, back in the lows. That was a scary time back in February, March.
Yeah, was it?
You know, I remember waking up and just being freaked out that everything was going to zero around that time.
Yeah, we saw that, right? We've been in chats, or group chats like that. People were freaking out. But the thing that you have on your show, 2014, what did you do in the bear market?
Yeah, what did you do in the bear market?
It's very similar to what did we do in 2018, right?
Yeah, what did we do?
Well, I tried to buy as low as I could, right?
Yeah.
Majority of my holdings is in Bitcoin. I do have alts, and I think for lack of a better term, I fudged up on these altcoins. Came into the market too late, didn't sell out in time. Yep. And I'm holding a bag of altcoins, right?
A bag of alts. Yep. Who else has a bag of alts out there?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Well, I guess some of them were good places to hide during ICOs, right? And some of them have had some good rallies, and you're hoping to catch something like that, some good news. Who knew that EOS was actually going to go live?
Yes, I think that's the one, right?
Like, who knew?
Yeah. If only we had, I had
50 cents. I remember. It was those days. Oh, the days of EOS being 50 cents. I don't think anyone would ever trade EOS like for that much. Nowhere near those prices. Like, you got a live blockchain. You got an Ethereum killer in Manila as the big gorilla in town. Number coin number 8. Robbie, bring us.
Where are we?
Bring us. We're at Cardano.
We are.
What are we talking about now?
All right, so we've got Iota.
Two more.
Iota and Tron.
Iota and Tron. Are we coin number 8 or are we coin number 9?
I think we're 9 now. Yeah, we are 9. We are 9. So.
My apologies.
No, you're right. Iota.
Looking at Iota.
Very, I think, bearish.
So the Internet of Things, this is a very, very long-term project, and I've heard so many challenges with this coin over time. But the actual concept, imagine if you had a computer in your toaster, computer and everything, it was mining Bitcoin, it was, I don't know what it was doing, all sorts of things, the Internet of Things all locked up. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. Everything's going to have a computer and everything's going to have a sensor in it. I was in GE's innovation lab in San Francisco and seeing some of the things that they're putting sensors in, like all their actual engines, the locomotives, the diesel, and all the actual new sensors and things that they're actually getting. And what they've found is they've been able to decrease the running costs dramatically because they figured out, like, these are the things that are actually wear and tearing. This is actually what's going on inside the engine.
Oh, wow.
This is going to happen, right? The Internet of Things is a big thing. I remember getting into this coin a while ago, but now, obviously, it's a long, long, long project. And I'm not sure, like, lots of, I think LG said the other day that they're coming out with their own blockchain as well. But what's your view on Iota, Ravi?
Technically speaking, back at support, I don't think this will hold. I mean, if you look at the patterns in the past of Iota, hit support a couple of times, rallies back up and takes it. It's just a jaggedy sort of sell-off, right? We've had lower lows, lower highs. I think the same will continue. The buy zones around here.
All right.
Back at support.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting. So we're talking at 0.0015 Satoshis potentially for the Iota buy zone beginning. We're a little bit higher than that. Seems to be some interesting movement. doesn't seem to have seems to have held up relatively.
It's holding
okay.
the support well, right? But yeah, I mean, if you look at the past patterns, if that support goes and just even makes a false break, I think it'll continue jagging all the way down here.
Okay. That's Iota. Let's give us the next coin. I think I've made a miscount here along the way. I don't know where, but I've clearly made a miscount. So this is our last coin.
Last coin.
If I'm not mistaken, my apologies to everyone. I've been counting down. There's going to be no coin number 9. We're just going to go straight to number 10. The last coin of the day is, I believe, Tron. But just before that, quick update on the market, guys. We're at Bitcoin is trading at $6,596. Ethereum at $512. Eos at $11. Litecoin is at $100.
Wow.
Welcome back, Litecoin. It's great to see you back in the triple digits. Bitcoin Cash at $881. Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic. Never know what's going to happen with Ethereum Classic. It's like one of those ones, you know, it's like that creeper. It's like that person who hangs out at the party and doesn't really talk to anyone, but like everyone assumes they're just going to be there. $13.86, Ripple at 55 cents, Cardano at 16 cents, 0.8, and Tron. Let's talk about Tron. 4.5 cents. Been a big mover, up 7.7% in trading over the last 24 hours. Let's zoom in on what Rabbi has to say. Our last coin of the day, guys, Tron. If you've got any questions, guys, do subscribe, do share with your friends. Get yourself out there. Get this show out there. Let's spread the word of cryptocurrency. Let's help your portfolio. Do something for yourself. Help the portfolio and spread the word about the Crypto Finder TV show. We're trying to do our best to bring you the best content, the best interviews, and the latest news and updates. And I'm just trying to understand what is going on with Ethereum Classic.
What is going on with Ethereum?
What is going on with Ethereum Classic? Tron. Tell us about Tron. The last coin of the day, guys. Share, subscribe, join in. We're going to have a weekend off. I'm going to have a weekend with my 2 little girls, and we're going to go play lots of crazy games, chasing around the house. We play Bitcoin at home, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, my daughter draws little pictures of Bitcoin and how it gets made, and mining and things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's really cool.
Get him in early.
Yeah, she does. She's just incredible, super creative. We play the Bitcoin game.
It's
Lots
awesome.
of fun.
Awesome.
Tell us, Robbie, Tron.
Tron.
What is the price of Tron? What is the buy zone? Wow, look at Tron.
Tron's great.
It looks like a Head and Shoulders. Is that a Head and Shoulders? Looks like Batman almost, maybe.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at that. It looks a bit like Batman to me. It's like up and down. Is there another announcement about the announcement of the
BitTorrent?
announcement of Tron? Could we have an announcement about the announcement? Ravi, we're going to make an announcement about Tron's price. Where's the buy zone for Tron?
I think we've hit it, mate, and there's been some good fundamentals as well coming out from Tron. I think, what's his name?
Mainnet's gone live.
Yep.
On the
and
19th.
They bought BitTorrent as well.
They bought BitTorrent.
So, you have the fundamentals there.
So we're talking about a blockchain which is trying to help with the spread of content and all things content. So BitTorrent obviously is quite a key factor to that, and its integration with Tron could be very, very interesting. A very interesting acquisition, really, if you think about it. The integration of BitTorrent and blockchain combined together, that's fascinating, right? I don't know how that works together, but someone behind the scenes at Tron has figured that out. So you reckon we're just bumping off the buy zone with Tron?
Yeah, I do. I think Justin, the CEO, right? He did a pretty good job with the BitTorrent buyout, and there was a lot of hype. But I think he's been very silent recently, but the acquisition has happened, right? And I think the markets, factor that in. We've had a great bounce off the buy zone here. We can see once this trend line gets taken out, I think we'll start seeing a bit more of a rally. But overall, it really, again, just to reiterate, it comes down to Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin finds the low and we start stabilizing, I'd just like to go back to Bitcoin, But hypothetically speaking, if we're at the lows now, that's great. If not, I think we'll get that 54 to 4,700. But once it finds this low, right, and holds, and we start seeing a rally, I think that will be when the stability of cryptocurrencies returns, right? And that's when we'll see a lot of these altcoins, regardless of how good they are fundamentally. But a lot of the investors will jump in on them, right?
Yeah. We could be at the spring, guys. At the spring?
At the spring.
At the spring.
Yep.
Learned new terminology today, guys. Spring, all those kind of things. I just want to thank Rabbi. That's our top 10 coins. Rabbi, you've done an incredible job today.
Thanks,
well done.
Thanks for having
coming
me.
in. And incredible work, incredible insight from Rabbi, giving it to us straight from BitTrade, head of trading. Been fantastic having you on the show. Thanks so much, guys, for all the questions. Thanks so much for listening in, guys. And do subscribe, share it with your friends. And we're going to leave the show there today because it's been so intense. And Ethereum Classic has got me confused.
It's done your head in.
Eos is launched. It's a great day. SEC, Ethereum, and Bitcoin are not securities. Thanks very much, guys, for listening to the Daily Exchange. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.